My name's Brian Thompson. We've got a practice in Darlington. We do have an office in Sunderland as well, but that's more of a satellite office. And I've been here since 1st of January 2008. So originally it was called Christie and Proud, and I joined it as Christie Proud Thompson. And it was a bit of a mouthful, so we just shortened it to CPT quite recently. And so I'm the only partner left because the other two have retired. So that in itself has presented challenges, and we've just worked differently. Rather than bring another partner in, we decided to work differently, more smarter, asking the staff to take on more responsibilities and the like. So Lorna Christie retired about two years ago, something like that. So that's been a challenge over the last couple of years, but I think we're getting there, and embarking on the AVN journey has been quite a good, it's been quite timely. We needed to do it, so, and the time was right, so happy days, it's going well.
Okay, so just a flavour for, I mean, you said you're one partner now. How many team have you got? You mentioned in your introduction a moment ago that AVN was quite timely. Just expand on that. When you say timely, what were the problems that you were facing at the time?
In the past, I guess really we were a bit at breaking point, and it was useful to get Sam's input on where he thought we were as well, because staff morale was probably low. We were frustrated. We knew we wanted to get something. The ambition was there, but the direction wasn't there, and how to get there and how to focus it. Things like billing procedures just weren't working. The jobs weren't being turned around quick enough. The cash flow as a result, was affected by that. It was like, pedaling the bike in first gear, but not getting anywhere. We're working really hard. All the staff were excellent. They're working really hard, but I suppose it was a traditional practice. In the modern world, it needs to be run differently to the way it was, and we had a lack of clarity really in where we wanted to be, where we were now, and where we wanted to be. I mean, the growth, there was no growth. It was yes, we were getting new clients, usually by referrals, but they weren't. Then we'd lose the natural ones that are retiring and moving on, that sort of thing. So there was a number of things where the enthusiasm wasn't there, and we really need. And for myself, my enthusiasm wasn't there, and it was almost like, where do we go from here? It's from a health point of view, I suppose. I wouldn't say it affected my health, but you're constantly thinking about it, worrying about where's the cash going to come in, how am I going to pay the wages, that sort of thing. And it was tight, and it was really tight, particularly running up to Christmas, knowing that there was a tax liability to pay in January. It was daily tax, spreadsheet with daily cash flow projections. I tell you what, AVN in the masterclass did do. It gave me a bit of a hunger to read some of these books that you mentioned. So I've read a load of books. I've read your book.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I've read a load of books. And the Simon Sinek one, and Michael Gerber's, and Eat That Frog, Who Moved My Cheese, what's the other one I'm reading at the moment? Oh, the 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey.
Yes.
Which is great, because all I have to sit. I mean, I've made everybody in the office read Who Moved My Cheese, to get their assessment of who they think they are in that story. But it's great because now, with the staff, so for instance, if I think somebody's pontificating, I'll just say, eat that frog and get that job done. And it's a nice light-hearted way. They know exactly what I mean. And, if somebody's trying to put their monkey on me, and delegate to me, there's times when I just write it in big letters on an email, monkey, and they know exactly what I mean. And it's a nice light-hearted way to say, no, that's your problem. So the hunger that being on your course did for this reading has been great, because I've read a number of books, and it means that I can talk like this to clients and share the experiences. So it's great.
I'm really pleased to hear that. That's fantastic. Yeah, the benefit of getting all of your team to read that is you're all on the same wavelength. You're all singing from the same hymn sheet, aren't you? And that's fantastic.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay, so you mentioned masterclass. You signed up from there. What happened after masterclass? And let me just sort of set the scene a little bit with that. I'm sure maybe some of the people that will listen to this video will probably think, well, I've been on the masterclass, or I've been on a course, I've come away buzzing with lots of ideas, and then you come back to the real world, you know, the clients are on the phone to you, you've got a backlog of emails. So what happened post masterclass then?
Well, that's a really good point, because I thought I would be that, you know, where you get back to the real world, and because it was a run up into the busy period, I thought I'd lose it, and I'd lose the enthusiasm, especially the fact that, I mean, I'll be honest, at that point in time, at the end of the masterclass, cash flow was that tight that we couldn't really afford to do that, to sign up for it. I mean, it's a value for money fee, don't get me, the investment, but we just couldn't. You know, there was other things that I needed to consider. So, and I thought, I might lose the enthusiasm for it, having gone through January, you know, the headless chicken and firefighting through January. But no, I didn't. And I think because I was reading a lot of these books through that time, it just spurred me on even more. And I couldn't really wait to get started, you know, in February, March. So there was the danger that I did sort of lose interest or forget about it, because I've done that so many times. You know, I sign up for something and then you get busy and you lose it. But I think because I was talking to the members of the team about it as well, they were sort of, no, that's interesting, you know, and so I didn't just let it go. And then the next thing that was important was that we signed up, and I needed to get a couple of my team on that masterclass. Because then I knew that by doing that, I wasn't just a lone voice in the office, and they would be. I had no doubt that they would be converted. In fact, I think it was your first break on the first day, about 10:30 or something. I got a text from Sam saying, "This is fantastic." This, so right from the start, they were both blown away. So then there was 3 of us to power it forward, which was really important. And I guess really the staff are, you know, the members of the team are pushing it more than I would probably at the moment. But so there is the danger of that. And if I did it again, I would probably try and sign up straight away, you know. But it didn't defer deter my enthusiasm for it. So.
What are some of the key results you would say you've seen since signing up?
There's all sorts. I mean, it's important that it was just bite-sized things that we did. So obviously we worked through the Clarity book, and although not everything's signed off in the Clarity book, we are addressing things. So, for instance, the AVN steering group will look at bite-sized things. So each fortnight we meet, and we say what we're going to talk about, what we're going to address this time, and we address it, resolve it, and then move on to something else. But the enthusiasm in the office is much better. The whole field, there seems to be a sense of focus of where we are. I mean, the benchmarking exercise was really eye-opening, and it needed to be done. Worrying, bit scary. So straight away, we did things like we put the prices up 10% across the board. Every client at least 10%, and we're doing that, you know, ongoing. Our sales, our invoicing for April versus the year before were up 55%, and the May sales for the year before were up 52%. We do things. We just do things differently. I mean, billing, for instance, was always a problem. So what I did was I said, right, the 3 of you guys, you do your own billing every month. So we block out a time. First of the month, there's a whole morning blocked out. And they do their own billing. I I review it, and that's why the billing's going up, because they're taking responsibility for it, ownership of it. You know, in the past I've banged on about the billing's got to be up, but it's never had any effect. But because they're taking ownership, it's working. We have a number of things. I've got them all written down in front of me here, but we'll be on ages. But we've graded our clients, which is a really good one. A to D, and that analysis was interesting because A and B clients represented 79% of our fees. The D clients was 6%.
Right.
So it said to us, why we're messing about with these people here. There's a couple of success stories, just individual clients. There's one client that we took from a fee of £2,500 a year to £7,000 a year, just by saying we would like to work with you more regularly, management accounts, etc. So that was significant, and that's the type of client we wanted to do. I mean, they are our ideal clients. We've spent a lot of time on analysing what our ideal client is, using obviously the software, and we've taken that and we've made it more concise. So we are going to put that. It's just in the process of going on the bottom of all of our emails. So every client that gets that will see that this is our ideal client. You know, can you recommend this, etc. I think we've been able to be a bit harsher with clients, maybe. You know, in terms of you need to pay us, you know, on time. We use Go Cardless more to get the direct debits in, and the D clients we can afford to be a bit bullish with. I've no qualms at telling some of the clients we've graded our clients. I'm not always anxious to say you're a D client, but the A clients, I want them to know that they are A clients and they're important to us. And so, as one of the exercises we did, we said, well, we've got our A clients, but what's our top 10 clients? And they are our VIP clients. And because they are VIP clients, what we're going to do differently for them? And there's a whole manner of things that we're banding around a bit at the moment to try and make them special, feel special. Because by doing that, we know that they'll refer on to us. We are asking for referrals, which we weren't very good at. And we're just formulating the agenda process for meetings, where that goes on the bottom. So we have systems in place for a number of things. One of them was that I was the bottleneck, because being the only partner, everything comes through me from a review point of view. So we have something as simple as just a sort of a checklist, what's it called, clipboard on my desk. So when the file comes in my room, it goes on there with dates on when it's needed, etc. So I can see at a glance what's in my room, because sometimes, you know, people put things in your room and it gets lost. And that's it. That's helped me focus. So I know when they came in my room, so I know that I've got, when it comes in my room, I've got 72 hours. This is a self-imposed deadline, 72 hours to turn it around, to get it back to them, and they've got 24 hours to get the review answered and out. That's made a massive effect on not just cash flow, but, you know, on the flow of work through the office. But there's a number of things. I mean, we are. As I look up there, we've got a board. We've got just a blank wall, and I've said to everybody, look, you need to put a little poster on that wall of the things that we've done that have been good for clients. So it's starting to take shape. But I think a lot of it's in the heads, what we've done. But I said, no, get it on the wall so we can see exactly what we're doing, you know, what's good and what we can improve.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but there's a number. I mean, just looking down. There's regular team planning meetings that we didn't have. Selling more services. We use work orders. The work orders more. So one success thing that we've had that's been. I mean, it's not a massive amount, but we were doing something really ridiculous. We were charging £50 for an annual return. Yeah, confirmation statement, and that was ridiculous, because in order to do the confirmation statement, we were maintaining the statutory books on our software, So what I said was, right, when the deadline comes around, write to every client with a work order and say, we've charged you £50 in the past. It is now £150 because we're maintaining your statutory books. We've had 2 people that have done it themselves, which is fine. But what it means is that that's tripled the fee on that, and that's probably worth about £9,000 to the practice straight away. It's just simple things that if you package it differently, it works. And like I say, we've not had any problems with that. Well, we did something with the payroll. This was before about a year ago, where when we moved it into the limited company and had its own limited company, we said it's ridiculous. It's not washing its face. We're not charging enough money. Therefore, we're going to put the prices up, and we put them up 20%, which is not a lot on some of the fees that we're charging, but 20-30%. We had 2 inquiries about it. 2 people rang up about it. One of them decided to do it himself. The other one just says, "Oh, that's fine." So this 80-20 rule is, it's right. We've proved it. That by putting your prices up, and now this means that I can say to clients, if you want to add X amount to your profit, this is what you do. Just by putting it on by this, and I can say, I've done it. And you won't lose 20% of your clients if you put the prices at 20%. So I can prove it with mine. And so they take listening to things like that. I think we're becoming more of a business advisory role than we were prior, because of what we're trying to do with our business. We can put into practice with others, and it's down to AVN's guidance, and it's just AVN just focuses you. Andrea's spot on. She's really, really good. She listens, and she's very supportive of what we've done, and very good at suggesting things to maybe just take it a little bit further. But the discipline of having that meeting with her is what we needed. So I know that meeting's in the diary, and I know that we've got to have something to tell her. Whatever she's suggested, we need to have that done by the next time. So that's really useful. The fact that I think if you just left us to it, there's always something that comes along, GDPR or whatever. It's something that would put us off doing it. But it's just that focus, and we are a much more focused firm than we were.
Just my fan kicked in for my aircon halfway through that, and I'm struggling just to hear you. And maybe it shouldn't affect the quality, but just from my point of view, because the system records it separately, I just want to make sure that I can hear you okay. So again, back at the beginning, you mentioned team morale not being great. What's it like now?
Oh, it's much better. I mean, the fact that they feel more involved in it, in the practice development of the practice, and the changing in culture. I think the fact that I've said this before, it's a revolution, not evolution. We want to change like that, and we want clients to feel the benefit of that change. So they're very open to new suggestions, particularly the 2 lads, because they're helping to drive it forward. PA is absolutely spot on. She's 100% behind it. So the morale is better because they can see that the results are improving. When I think about it, the frustrations that I must have had when the billing wasn't there, and going in and saying the billing's not there, it's really frustrating. It's demoralising a little bit for them as well, because they were working very, very hard, but they couldn't see. It was just headless chickens. There was no sense of direction really. But by the analysis that we've gone through since joining AVN, self-analysis has helped us all. I mean, the grading of the clients, I didn't do it. I asked the team to do it. So they sat down, graded them all, and then I just went through and I agreed with the grading or disagreed, and we talked about it. And that was a good exercise for them, because that felt as though they were listened to, and I value every single one of them. So it's important that they are part of what we do. The revolution, that they are really instigating these changes as well as I am. If you want anybody to buy into something, you've got to involve them.
Involve them, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
If you could compare your personal level of morale, if you like, compared to maybe this time last year, how would you compare that?
Well, I was probably the most demoralised because there were months before the AVN effect started to kick in where I couldn't pay myself. So that's put a straight. And although my wife was very understanding about that, it was difficult. So I needed to see something improving, or we would have to do something drastic, and you would look for a way out of, do we merge? Do we sell to somebody else? And that did cross my mind, but that was never my ambition to do that. My ambition is to grow this practice into with some really good clients. Yes, we might not have. The plan is to reduce the number of clients we have, but get more money from them. But I want to do it with the staff, the team that I've got. Because there's some good guys and girls there, and I think that really we could grow together. And I think I want them to be at the centre of the growth, so that they get rewarded further down the line.
Brilliant.
But from a personal point of view, I love what I read in these books, and it's great that I can talk to clients about what I've read, and it's great when you point to certain books on the courses or on the days that we sort of meet up. But it's just I feel better about it. I've got a pile of books next to my bed. It's making my wife mental because they just stood there. But I just dip into them, here and there. And but no, my enthusiasm's back, which I suppose I always knew where I wanted to be. It's just I didn't know how to get there, and I suppose it might be a bit corny, but AVN sort of being a bit of a sat nav, just helping me to get there really, because I needed that direction.
How did you overcome that challenge? You mentioned cash flow. And I think a lot of people might see it as a bit of a chicken and egg. I need to earn more money before I can join AVN. How did you square that circle in your head?
I think what it was, I had a tax bill in my mind, and what I knew we'd done things before, signed up for bits of software or whatever, and not used them, and so. I suppose that was my concern, that I was going to sign up and I was going to pay a direct debit and it not be used for 6 months, which to me was needed for the tax bill and VAT bills and all sorts. So I think probably if I was advising somebody now, I would probably say just in case, I would sign up straight away if you can. Because I think there's probably things that we could have done even in the busy period that might have helped the busy period. So it could have had an impact, simple stuff that works straight away. Whereas probably we muddled through in the busy period, and it was probably false economy in some respect. So I wouldn't advise that now, but you do these things and you realise later. But it's a great investment. It's not a considerable amount of money really, but it's. I'm sure we're making our money back. Well, we are, aren't we? Because even on that company secretarial price shift, that's £9,000 a year. We are more than covering. So yeah.
Okay. So what would you say? You've just reeled off loads of things that you've implemented in your practice and already made a huge change. What's next? What do you see the next part of your journey being?
It's continue what we're doing, because we are very much reliant on these steering groups to dictate what we do. I mean, we talk about it and decide amongst ourselves what we're going to do, but and we usually come away with 3 or 4 maybe things that we're going to address. We need to make small, regular improvements is what we need to do, because I think if we went down and tried to change everything, first of all, the time involved in trying to change anything too big would be, we wouldn't have the time to invest. But one of the things that we talked about with Sam earlier, we asked about what about the future, what do we continue doing? And he said, keep smelling the cheese so we know when it gets old, and that's straight out of Who Moved My Cheese. And it's right. We need to make sure that we don't become stale what we're doing, and we're constantly moving. But we need to position the firm where we want to be, and we need to clear off all the clarity bits that we haven't done or addressed. And there's not many, but there's just 1 or 2 that we talked about in our last steering group that we're going to direct our attention to. And we're going to have a game plan for looking after our A clients, and make them feel really important, because they are. And then maybe address the D clients, and what do we do with those? To dump or gazump, we need to get rid, or put the prices up. There's a number of things but it's important that we, because of who we are and that we're not a big firm, that we just do things that are manageable but are meaningful. Each couple of weeks, when we meet, we just make sure that we've dealt with that. And Sam's quite a formidable chairman of this group, so if you haven't done it, he'll tell you. We need to get it sorted, but so it's important that we all take responsibility. And the group, I think, as a team, maybe 1 or 2 maybe could benefit from going on the workshop again, because yes, it's hard to try and be enthusiastic about new ideas, but until you've got you converted, as the 3 of us have been, it's not in your inner being, it's in your soul, which we're just changing the culture. We are changing the culture, and I guess the culture's changed. It has been quite a revolution, changed quite quickly, because effectively we're saying, no, we're going down the AVN route, this is what we're doing. And we get a number of emails from all different kinds of people, but we are with AVN, and we are in there for the long haul. And I was very inspired by Phil Ellerby. Yeah, I thought that was great what he said, and although we weren't working from a shed in the garden, what he had to say was very inspiring. So if he can do it, and that's what if we can have a measure of his success, then that's what we need to be aiming for. But we need to get things nailed down and get the foundations within the practice, in the business. And I need to stop calling it practice, because if you listen to Michael Gerber, a practice revolves around one person, and it's not that now. It's about a business, and it's an accountancy business that anybody ringing in, any client ringing in, doesn't need to speak to me, and that's been a definite shift from the traditional practice years ago, where everything went through the partner, to clients preferring to speak to members of the team, because they know that I might be busy or whatever. But so that's really important, because there's a lifestyle balance that I want to achieve, and if I could get this down to 3 days a week, I'd be a very happy man. So that's what my aim is, I guess, in the future, in a few years' time. But no, we'll probably we will be attending the conference, the AVN conference, because I think that'll be quite an inspiring occasion. If we're good enough, if we think we're achieving things that would warrant us entering into the awards, then we're discussing with Andrea if we think we we're good enough to do that. We've made enough progress. We'll probably put an award each year, and hopefully just be amongst us and learn from other people who have been successful in the same, some boats as we are. Yeah.
Just for the benefit of anybody listening, a couple of things, I suppose, a glossary of terms I just want to cover. First of all, you mentioned your AVN steering group. This is an internal focus group that you've put together, or someone in your team's basically put together, haven't they, just to make the AVN stuff happen internally. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it was important that that group wasn't too big, because we've done that before when we've tried to make change and there's too many in it. So it made sense that the three of us that had been on the AVN masterclass were in that group. But it was also essential that I wasn't heading up that group. So because of his enthusiasm, it was right that it was the youngest member of the group that we were making chairman, and he's driving it forward. So yeah, I would always recommend that, because it's hard to get anything done if the group's too big, or if there's one person dictating it. You want to take ownership of it. Then it needs to be a small, highly motivated group, and it's worked so far.
Good stuff. Couple of other quick questions now. Just for the benefit of, again, you've just reeled off lots of stuff. How many months have you been part of AVN now?
Well, I looked back. I think we actually signed up. I think it was the back end of February, but my first phone call with Andrea was on the 7th of March. So it does feel as though it feels longer, but it feels as though we've made quite a bit of progress in that time.
Certainly does. So
yeah,
again, just for the benefit of the audience, how many months is that?
So that's what you're going to have to do my calculator as.
Oh, we're in
March,
June. It's 3
April,
months.
May, June.
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, because I mean, there's things that have happened in that time, like GDPR, and obviously, other client commitments and the like. But we've been able to sort of make that steady progress through being focused really, because you can think, oh, that's a great idea, no, that's wonderful, but unless you actually nail, well, when are we going to do it by, who's going to do it, when we're going to do it by, and how do we think that's going to affect us, then you don't get anything done. So you've got to really nail it down, and that's what we've tried to do in those four months. And when we're going into a holiday period, so it's important that we do keep the momentum going while people are away. But in that space of time, Sam's been doing exams, and we've still managed to sort of keep that enthusiasm and what going. So yeah, it's 4 short months really, but there's a long way to go. I mean, I'm under no illusions that we're not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, if we had the success on the fees like we have in the last couple of months, billing months, then I'll be more than happy. Because that's, we don't want to sort of grow too quickly. We want to sort of, we will need to dump some D clients to give us resources to do the A clients. But that fortunately will be a strategic decision, and it will be in our hands, not the clients. Yeah.
Good stuff. My final question really is: would you recommend AVN to another accountant listening to this video right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I suppose this is like a testimonial, really, because all of these things in 4 months. It's important to get it right. And I would say, if you're not serious about changing the culture of your practice, and you don't, it's lip service, don't bother, because it'll be frustrating for AVN, advisors, and it'll be frustrating for you. If you're not serious, then it's probably not worth doing. But if you are serious about making a difference to so many lives of your team, your own life, and the lives of your clients, then it's key that you sign up. It's just it's like somebody holding your hand as you go through a journey. It's really. I mean, there's probably all the cliches that you could come out, but rather than speaking from the heart, I really don't know where we would be if I hadn't made that step, because the morale, both mine and the teams, was waning, and there's only a matter of time before that filtered through to the clients. But fortunately, the timing was superb, and we did that before there was any repercussions from a loss of clients' point of view. And now they see this new revitalised firm, which is great from our point of view. But if people want to be successful, then I would definitely stand for AVN straight away.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Brian. I really appreciate that. It's been
That's okay.
It's been inspiring for me just to listen to the great stuff that you've done, and what particularly stands out for me really is that it has been, as you mentioned right at the very beginning, it's incremental changes that you just kept doing on a regular basis. It's not big change in small steps, is it? Sorry, it's not big changes. Say, I'm not wording this very well. Do you know what I mean? It's just little steps regularly, isn't it? Rather than one big step and then nothing for a while.
I think there's always the problem that you bite off more than you can chew. So it was bite-sized chunks, but that thing about a revolution, not an evolution, that was in the mind. So we knew right across the practice, right across the business, that we wanted to change things, and we wanted to change things as quick as we could. But then we had to just put the reins on and say, it's got to be in bite-sized chunks, because if we all of a sudden say we're going to change this, and this, nothing would get done. So it's an incremental change to culture. I mean, when you're dealing with people and cultures and clients, it's not easy, so you've got to do it. And they've got to see the benefit of those changes. So it becomes a communication thing, really. You've got to be able to successfully communicate to clients and to members of the team, this is why we're changing it. Because by doing that, this will be the result. But yeah, it's incremental, and that's why I guess we've had a measure of success with it. Because over the 4 months, we haven't tried to go mad with it. We're just small things, small bite sizes.
Good stuff. Brilliant.
Okay.
Right. Well, I'll end it at that. I've taken almost an hour of your time, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's been fantastic. Really.
Good.
I think we'll be able to repurpose this in lots of different ways as well, to be honest with you. So thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Right. Hope you have a great afternoon, Brian. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
I'll see you soon. Ta-da.